Sometimes love means walking away from red. I met the love of my life in college. Emily had this quiet confidence that made you lean in when she spoke, not from passiveness, but from knowing exactly who she was. I was hooked immediately. We met during a group project of all things, and after one late night working at the library, we were inseparable. Her world was nothing like mine. My parents were huggers, criers, people who talked with their hands and cried during commercials. Hers wore matching cashmere sweaters at Christmas and discussed investments over lamb. At first, I thought the contrast was charming, until I sat at their dinner table for the first time. I wore the only dress shirt I owned and brought a bottle of wine with a label I couldn't even pronounce. Emily gave me a nervous smile as we waited at the door. Her mother opened it, looked me up and down like I'd tracked mud onto the rug, and turned without a word. Her father's handshake was so limp it felt more like a warning. Dinner felt less like a meal and more like a panel interview. Her father leaned in, folding his hands as he grilled me about my plans, while her mother pushed her salad around like even touching it would be beneath her. When I mentioned freelance design, her father snorted, and her mother tilted her head. So, no real salary then? Across the table, Emily squeezed my knee under the cloth, a small apology. I forced a smile, said something about creative freedom, and stared into my water glass until dessert. Still, I kept going back. I smiled through it all because family mattered, and Emily loved them. I thought if I showed up enough, proved I wasn't a phase or a mistake, maybe they'd warm up. When I proposed, they didn't hug her. Her mother just stepped aside and said, "It's not too late to reconsider." Her father looked at the ring like it personally insulted him. You planning to marry into the family, or mooch off it? The wedding was beautiful, but the cold from their side of the room was unmistakable. They stood stiffly during family photos, didn't dance, and were gone by the time the cake was cut. That night, Emily sat on the hotel bed in her dress, wiping makeup from her face in silence. We tried to move forward, but every visit to their house felt like navigating invisible tripwires. Her mom would make comments like, "You looked so polished before marriage," scanning Emily's jeans and messy bun. Her father always had a drink in hand and loved cracking jokes about my work. "Still designing logos for pocket change?" he asked during a Christmas toast, laughing like it was all good fun. At first, Emily defended me. Then she defended me less. Not because she agreed, but because it drained her. I could see it. The way she'd go quiet in the car afterward, how her hands would shake slightly while making coffee. She started apologizing for them, then apologizing for apologizing. We stopped talking as much, not from anger, but from exhaustion. I'd say I was fine, and she would nod, wanting to believe it, until the Sunday lunch. Her father looked up from his plate, dabbing the corners of his mouth, and said, "Emily always had potential. Shame she's wasting it on someone with no future." I stood up slowly, pushed my chair back without a sound. My hands were steady. "You don't get to talk to her like that," I said. "Not anymore." Her mother blinked, but said nothing. I turned to her, voice low but firm. "You've been chipping at her confidence for years. Whether it's control, bitterness, or pride, it ends here. We're done trying." Emily didn't say a word, but she stood up too, found my hand, and gripped it like she was anchoring herself. We left, coats still damp from the rain. They didn't call. Weeks later, an email arrived titled, "Revisiting Expectations." Emily deleted it before I could finish reading the subject line. "We haven't looked back. Sometimes it still aches, the absence of what should have been there, but we sleep better now. We laugh more."